Hello traders and investors, welcome back to the Trend Trader channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about RMH. RMH is a company that just declared a special dividend. So we'll see where that special dividend is coming from, the rationale of that special dividend. So early in September 2022, RMB, well, it's RMH, but it is called RMB Holdings. Early in September, RMB Holdings, the share code is RMH, but the name of the company is RMB. So they declared that they will be returning 2 billion rands to investors in a form of a special dividend. So that special dividend, it came from the fact that the company managed to dispose one of its holdings. So they managed to sell part of Atterbury Europe holdings there, as you can see. So the information about the special dividend that they are going to pay, it is a gross dividend of R1.41 per share of RMH. So about 18 cents of that money is not going to be taxed. As you can see, it is not subject to dividend withholding tax. So as a result of that, the reason for that is that the capital that's going to be paid, it is coming from contributed tax capital. So some part of the tax have been covered already. Then about R1.23, that is the money that is eligible for that 20% dividend withholding tax. So RMH investors in total, they will be receiving about R1.16 per share. And the dates that you need to keep in mind is when the dividend is going to come to investors. So they made the announcement on the 9th of September 2022. The last day to trade so that you can participate in the special dividend is 4 October 2022. And the shares are going to start trading ex-dividend on the 5th of October 2022. The record date is the 7th. Remember, we've made a video that explains what is important. Both the ex-dividend date and the record date are important. The record date is simply when the company check the share book to see who are the shareholders, the people that are eligible to receive the dividend that has been paid. The ex-dividend date, it simply means that the people that buy the shares from the 5th of October may not qualify to receive a dividend. Why they may not qualify for a dividend? In the JSE or in any other stock market, there's going to be that processing time between the date of transaction and the date of recording. So if you manage to buy the shares on the 4th of October, depending on how quick that record is being made, if your name is going to be there on the record date, you will receive a dividend. But if your name is not there on the record date, then you may not receive a dividend. Same thing with people that will start selling their shares on the 5th of October. If the record still show that they are shareholders by the 7th of October, even though they have sold their shares, they will receive that dividend. We have a video, we'll leave the video in the description that explains that whole process. So for everyone that is going to be on the record date on the 7th of October, is going to receive that net dividend of R1.16 next week, Monday 10th of October. So this is good news considering the fact that the share price is currently trading somewhere around R2 per share. So that represents a huge dividend yield. Usually whenever we see companies trading ex-dividend, sometimes it happens that the share price, it drops by the amount of the dividend that is going to be paid. In this case, we are not saying that the share price won't drop. We are simply saying that this is coming from a special dividend. It is not coming from the profits of the business. Usually when that drop happens, it is because the dividend is coming from the profit that the business made. So when you look at RMH website, you can see that RMH is a listed company or investment holding company that has a successful track record in investing in different financial services businesses. But now, why are we only seeing property in RMH structure? If you look at the recent financial report for the year that ended in March 2022, you can see that they explain the nature of the business. Okay, so they say that RMH was the founding and the largest shareholder of First Rent Limited. But in 2016, RMH started to expand to include a property investment business. So RMH Property, it includes entrepreneur-led businesses, and then they are managing and building out property. Then in June 2020, First Rand, RMH started to unbundle their interest in First Rand, and the only company that was remaining in the RMH stable was RMH Property. So RMH Property now manages those property. Some of the businesses within that stable include that RMB Europe Holding that they have just disposed, but they also have other RMB Property Limited, which is operating in South Africa, and then they have other interest in other businesses. As you can see, previously they paid another special dividend, but they didn't declare an ordinary dividend. There's an ordinary dividend, and then there's a special dividend. An ordinary dividend is paid to ordinary shareholders. Usually this is everyone that buys ordinary shares. This can include institutional investors and retail investors, but the other form of shares are preference shares. So usually preference shares receive preference dividend. So if you're an ordinary shareholder, you won't receive a preference dividend. Equally, if you are an ordinary shareholder, you won't receive preference dividend from that company. So in 2021, RMH also paid 80 cents per share dividend. Then after tax, that was still above 60. That was about 68 cents per share after tax, which was a good dividend that was paid. So the history is repeating itself. That special dividend of 80 cents came from a disposal of another business in Europe. So it is the same thing here. We see that they disposed RMB Europe Holdings there, whatever that was remaining there. So if you are a dividend harvester, then if you buy this company before the 4th or before the end of the day on the 4th of October, you could be eligible to receive the dividend, but that rests on whether your name is going to be on the record book on the 7th of October. How the share price is going to perform from the 5th of October going forward, it is another story. You need to ensure that you do your own homework so that you see what kind of a company are you happy with the investment, and that you are not just a dividend harvester. Other than that, I believe that the special dividend is going to excite a lot of shareholders. On the business side, we've got nothing to say there. We don't have an opinion on that company. So that's it for today. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed, and feel free to smash the like button and also share this video with other dividend investors. We will see you in the next video.